Cowboys OT is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Sleep Number. The new Sleep Number 360 smart bed helps everyone from parents to pros improve their performance through quality sleep. Only at a Sleep Number store. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' film and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.
35-17 your final from AT&T Stadium this evening as the Cowboys take down the Giants to start the season 1-0. Welcome into Cowboys OT. I am joined by Bryan Broaddus and Nate Newton as always post-game. It's a great time with these two. What were your expectations going into this game? Did you think 5 different players would have a touchdown today?
No, I didn't.
I think it's a collective no.
Yeah, I did. Nobody played during the preseason. Cowboys probably played their players the most, them in Kansas City. Other than that, I didn't know what to expect. And when the Cowboys finally got the train moving forward, man, it just took off, and it's like the little train that I think, and then it just ran over the New York Giants.
Right over the Giants.
Yeah, but we talked about in the pregame show about Michael Gallup. And we thought about, okay, could Michael Gallup be a guy that we need to keep our eye on going into this game? And if you want to be, honest about that, the way we cover on DallasCowboys.com, we were talking about Michael Gallup quite a bit. We were talking about him as being a guy that potentially could be that breakout player. We know what we have in Amari Cooper here, but Michael Gallup, here's a guy down the field player, all those good things. But now you're seeing so much more to his game. Down the field, inside, the slants, the curls, run after catch. Those are things that you were looking for from him, and you saw him on display today.
It's amazing how much he has improved from year 1 to year 2.
Stronger guy, better the routes and stuff, more physical with the ball in his hands. Those are the things you want from your receivers. He's seen it from what Amari Cooper could do, and now he's making it part of his game.
He's just confident.
Yep.
He's confident.
Absolutely. Let's take a quick look back at the evening of how it all went down at AT&T Stadium. Give me those highlights. I want to get to all the touchdowns. First, obviously, we got to get to a Giants touchdown from this guy.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, Evan Ingram played a heck of a game today. But then, here you go, Dak Prescott comes back, finds Blake Jarwin, the Giant killer, right down the right.
Himself.
4 touchdowns against the Giants in his career so far. So good job right here. I like the call from Kellen Moore. They go run heavy going to the left. And then old man Witten gets the outside for the touchdown.
Another nice ball right here. Beautiful day for Amari Cooper, Bryan.
Great touch. When you talk about Dak Prescott, that's some of the problems he's had is the touch, and he was able to get that one connected.
Another beautiful dime.
It is, absolutely. Taking advantage of the Giants. On that particular one, he runs the inside route, though. Giant safety was faking the blitz, and then Prescott puts it over the top of it.
All right, another look at Randall Cobb this time.
Yeah, middle of the field. Randall Cobb, that's what he can do. Down the field, working the inside right there. Dak Prescott found him all day today.
62-yard catch for Michael Gallup, one of his many this afternoon.
Yeah, we need to get Michael Gallup to finish these off a little bit better, though. I tell you what, nice job of going inside, though, and making the snatch catch and then getting up the field.
All right, here he is, the $90 million man. Ezekiel Elliott finds his way into the end zone to cap off that win.
Yeah, 10-yard run right there. Got really nice block. And look at the blocks develop off that side. Tyron Smith right there, just a whale of the game for him, but we've gone to expect that from him. That's just the way he plays. He was outstanding in training camp this year, so good to see him get off on a good start.
Final stats for you. The time of possession was crazy different in the first half. Of course, Dak had 300 yards passing in the first half. The Cowboys so strong. Nate Newton, talk to me about what stood out to you about this offensive line back together tonight.
The third down conversion, as you see there, 6 for 10. The other guys 2 for 10. That is what stands out. When you can hold on to the ball, like you said, that first half, the numbers was just lopsided. As far as what Dak was doing versus Eli, as far as them controlling the ball and doing what they have to do now, the defense may have to tackle a little bit better. The whole that great monster down in Saquon Barkley. But other than that, they played a pretty good complete game for this to be this early in the season.
Yeah, they're going to play some good backs this year, but I don't think they'll play one as good as what they faced today. It seemed like every time that he had the ball in his hand, they were scrambling to have to get a body to him, and they missed some tackles. But he can make you, he can embarrass you. He's that type of player.
11 carries, 120 yards. I mean,
well,
It's Saquon, though.
Yeah,
it is Saquon.
And Xavier Woods had 11 tackles today. I mean, the safety is having to make 11 tackles. You know, that tells you there were some balls that were getting busted through into the second level. And Woods, to his credit, he did not shy away. He's going to sleep well tonight having to make all those tackles.
How did the secondary look to you all with the linebackers, the safeties, corners, what Chris Richard has done with this group? They were all over it today.
Yeah, they were. And, but I think there's some things that were worried to me. No Byron Jones today. I mean, only in dime package did I see Byron Jones play in this game. I thought that Brown would play better in this game. I need to watch the tape. I will catch it tonight. We'll be on DallasCowboys.com tomorrow for it. But I thought that Brown would play better. Awuzie, I thought, had a couple good sides. The guy that played the best, in my opinion, was Jordan Lewis. Because what he was able to do was, I saw him making tackles. I saw him getting involved, knocking the ball down, offhand stuff. This secondary, I don't think they're going to look at this film and be too terribly happy by the way they played. Some of the plays they gave up down the field.
I look at Evan Ingram, the tight end. I saw a couple of times where they put Byron Jones on him to try to slow him down. He had a nice day, but Byron is working his way back. I would just like to see a couple of weeks from now when all these guys have been working together in uniform back there. Like you said, Xavier Woods did what he had to do. Jeff Heath came up and made a few nice tackles. So they were solid, but nothing special. Now, Awuzie, for a guy that's all over a receiver, they still making that little better catch than he is covering. But if they can ever just pull it all together, and I'm all over Jordan Lewis. I mean, that dude is special.
Very physical.
Well, the thing too, and it might be when they watch this tape again tomorrow, is the pass rush. I felt like there was some pressure there, but I was expecting more consistent pass rush there.
Quick break here from the studio. When we come back, we will hear from what I am assuming a very happy Jerry Jones from AT&T Stadium. We've got that and much more coming at you here from Cowboys OT at the Star in Frisco. Welcome back into Cowboys OT here from the Star in Frisco. Cowboys have a dominant win over the Giants, putting up 35 points from 5 different players who found the end zone tonight. Let's go back out to AT&T Stadium and hear from owner and general manager Jerry Jones.
How pleasantly surprised were you that Zeke and other guys who were kind of ramping up played as well as they did?
Well, not surprised. I wasn't surprised at all. What I liked was the way that we stepped out there and took what the Giants gave us. And that's real promising. That's exciting. And I know we all saw things that we just haven't seen in the past. We saw a lot of our players, a lot of our offense used as to, again, without being repetitive, what the Giants gave us. That's exciting for us. And I know there at the end we probably were a little disappointed that we got a little soft at the end and kind of let them have a little movement there, but that's good. Give Coach something to talk about.
Last year, it seemed like Dak and Gallup had to get on the same page. It took them a little bit. It seemed like they hit the ground running this year. What did you make of that connection?
Well, I think that Gallup is he practices and executes and is off the field. I was just talking to his coach in there, and he said he had a game the way he's practiced. He had a game the way he had training camp. And, of course, if they're going to shade it against Amari, then you've got him, Cobb, you've got Jarwin on the seams. We've got a lot of ways to go out there, and so that's the exciting thing.
Jerry, when
we have respect for the Giants and their defense, and so I felt real good about how we did out there.
Going back to Dak for a second, there's been so much criticism in the past about his accuracy and deep ball. Just talk about his development, and it all coming together today, because he was accurate, he hit the deep ball and all that stuff you saw today.
Well, I know it's been almost a battle cry to for him to spend time in this offseason on the go routes, to let us, if they bunch up there to try to defend against Zeke, it lets us open it up downfield, as well as those crossing routes, as well as that motion, all of that. Again, I really am excited. My most excitement about this game is how varied our offense was.
Would you make of the defensive performance? There were a couple explosive plays, but overall, we did a good job containing the Giants' offense.
Defensively,
yeah.
I know we were pleased with it, probably all except that last couple of possessions in the fourth quarter.
When you see Witten score that touchdown, what's that moment like after he was gone all last year? That's like old times, right? Pretty
yeah,
quickly.
and I think you saw, now that's the way, that's experience. That's a pro. That's getting in there and positioning to make that score and make that catch. But I am impressed with how we're utilizing the makeup of the talent that we've got on offense. And of course, I was real pleased to see that offensive line have the day that they had, and we got to get the depth in there at the end of the game, but really should feel good. Our fans should feel good about the way the offensive line performed and the way that we basically attacked. Giants didn't give us anything. Whatever we got, we took it. But I was pleased.
That's an ender right there. Can you talk a little bit in depth, Nate, about what he may be alluding to with the offensive line and why he loved it so much today?
Well, no sacks. Then you got Cardinal Williams coming in, gained 15, 20 pounds, held his own today. Like I said, we got to look at film. But then, you know, Frederick coming up, making the plays, making everything easier for his offensive line, and plus the quarterback. When he comes up and calls out the protections, when Dak make a audible, he still looks up and calls out the protection, gets everybody lined up and flowing in the right way. So he should be proud of his offensive line. Like I said, it's early in the season. Giants, we don't know who they are. We don't know who the Cowboys are either. So we'll see as it moves on.
I think he has to be happy when he watches the tape tomorrow with the coaching staff, and he's going to see the blitz pickup stuff, because the only way the Giants were going to get pass rush was through the blitz. And look at several of the big plays that were made in this football game. And when Nate and I, again, sit down and watch the tape, and they all sit down and watch the tape, they're going to see backs picking up blitzes. They're going to see offensive linemen passing stunts. They're going to see a solid wall there that allowed Dak Prescott to throw the football today. These cornerbacks and safeties for the Giants were no match, and that's a good thing. You know, that's their problem. But the Cowboys did a great job of picking up blitzes, getting the ball to the right guy, and then the run after the catch was huge in this game.
When you see a lot of plays that go very deep in the middle and hit the seam, those are guys breaking off on hot routes. Yeah. And you saw a lot of that with Gallup. You saw a lot of that with Blake Jarwin, where they just breaking off routes and they're going straight up the field. It's the quickest way to the goal line.
All right, quick break here from the studio. When we come back, we will hear from head coach Jason Garrett, find out who he was proud of most for this team. 35-17 win over the Giants. More right after this. All right, Cowboys OT, we are having a good time. We saw Jason Garrett having a good time on the sideline today.
Yes,
like, nobody was happier.
Yeah.
And a huge embrace when Jason Witten scored that touchdown. Pretty sure there were a ton of memories there. Let's go hear more from Jason Garrett at AT&T Stadium following today's win.
How we doing, guys?
You're doing great. Jason, you pretty much did pass and catch as far as offense all day long. You got to be very pleased with both the way you performed offensively as well as the way the defense played today.
Yeah, I thought we did some good things in this game. Didn't get off to a great start in the game. Our first drive, you know, we bogged down a little bit. They had a big play in the running game. They go down and score. They go up 7-0. But I thought after that, we settled into the game a little bit. Thought we did a good job mixing the run and pass offensively. Made a lot of plays in the passing game. A lot of different guys got involved. Different guys scored touchdowns. I just thought it was pretty efficient. It was pretty explosive throughout. Defensively, a couple times, their runner is a big-time player. He got out on us a little bit. They did make some plays. The second last drive of the game on defense was not what we're looking for. Obviously, you know, you're in that situation where you're trying to, you know, milk the clock and get through the game, but you still want to play with the same identity that you play with all the time, and that was disappointing, but did a better job on that last drive taking the ball away.
Dak had great accuracy throwing the ball downfield. From your perspective as a former quarterback, how have you seen him grow in that area?
Yeah, I really do believe accuracy is something you can improve upon over the course of your career, and I think, some of that comes from work technically, whether it's your footwork or your delivery, all of that. But some of it comes from just playing in games and being in those situations and being able to get back into a fundamentally sound position over and over and over again when you're under duress. And I thought he did that tonight really throughout the ball game. Protection was outstanding, and it was just a good mix. We got different guys involved. He was seeing the defense well, throwing to the right guys. He had real command of the offense.
Talk about Michael Gallup's performance today.
Yeah, Michael made a lot of big plays. It seemed like every time we went to him, good things happened. And again, that goes back to Dak, reading the coverage, understanding the play versus the coverage and throwing to the right guy. And he threw it decisively, and Michael did a good job really winning on all three levels of the defense. You saw him catch quick stuff, intermediate stuff, and then he made big plays down the field.
How does it feel to have Gallup, Cooper, and Cobb back there as offensive weapons?
Yeah, each of those guys came up big in this game. And when Dak went to them, they came through. I thought Randall Cobb did a really good job. Big third down catch early to get us started. The catch and run he made down in the red zone was a big play for us. And, Amari continues to show that, he can win on a lot of different routes against a lot of different people. And he's just a really good football player. He looked healthy. He hadn't practiced a ton prior to this week, but he looked like he came back and was himself. And he and Dak were on the same page. So each of those guys, you throw the tight ends in the mix, and you add our desire to run the football, we can attack defenses a lot of different ways.
Coach, how did you see Ezekiel Elliott's performance?
I thought Zeke did a good job. Obviously he missed a lot of time in training camp and just practiced 3 days this past week, so we wanted to be mindful of how many reps we gave him in the game, and I thought we did a pretty good job of that. He ended up being in on a couple of longer drives in the first half, so I think he got up over 35 snaps in the game, but seemed like he handled it well. Looked like he ran the way Zeke runs. I know over time when he practices a little bit more and gets a little bit more game experience, he'll get more and more comfortable, but he's a really good football player, and it's great to have him back.
All right, there he goes, Jason Garrett. Yes, great to see Ezekiel Elliott back, but I think we all agree, yes, he scored a touchdown, but he'll get in more of a groove than what we saw today.
I think they're going to have to get him in more groove. I think they tried to show balance, but the balance came at the end of the game. It reminded me so much of my man Nate Newton's teams with the old Dallas Cowboys, that they build a lead on you, a big lead, and then all of a sudden they start trying to run the football. And again, they did a good enough job, though, of building that lead and kind of killing the game the way they did. They didn't have the success running the ball with Pollard like they wanted to because a lot of backups in there. But I think it's going to come down to Ezekiel at having to kill these games at the end. There's going to be a lot better defenses that they're going to face that's going to make them have to play that way.
I agree 100%. When you getting a guy back like that, I think Zeke, as the game went on, if you'd have just gave it to him, he'd have rolled it out. But why? You had that balance. You had Barkley, what's our tight end?
Jarwin.
Yeah. You had him rolling. You had all these guys going. Yeah. So, hey, you didn't have to worry about it today. Everybody was just doing their thing.
It was just a prime example of how this team used to play in the 90s. Seriously, I was on the other end of all that stuff. Build a lead, run the football, and then get the victory. Me go home disappointed.
Right. All right, we'll come back with some more here for you on Cowboys OT. Let's take another quick break. We'll talk about Amari Cooper, Ezekiel Elliott more in depth, and of course, the play of quarterback Dak Prescott. That's next. .405 yards and 4 touchdowns. Not a bad day. What record did he break, Brian? Troy Aikman's?
Troy Aikman, it was most passing yards in a
season
opener. And it was 1990. It was my first game against the Redskins. It was an overtime game. Rocket Ismail caught a ball for the game winner.
So Troy's calling the game today. Dak breaks the record. Now we get to hear from Dak Prescott as he took the podium post-game today.
Dak, how much fun is it to have 3 guys running deep down the field you can choose from to throw to now?
Just 3. I think it's more than that. I mean, surrounded by talent, this offense is full of it. You said it, it's fun. It's fun to be a part of it. It's fun to be the quarterback of this group. To be able to go out there and lead these guys, the offensive line, the way they played, the receivers making plays, the backs, obviously. It's just great to be a part of this group.
What was the key to get 405 passing yards today?
What's the key?
Yeah.
Great play calling. Credit Kellen Moore for that. And then once again, as I said, surrounded by great players like that. Offensive line did a great job in protection, and you're able to throw some short passes, and receivers go get the rest, and then you open up the run, and then you're able to hit them with the run action. So I mean, credit the play calling, but as I said before, we've got talent. We've got talent on this offense, and it's fun to be a part of.
You had so many drives of 80 yards or more. You talk about the confidence when you guys are backed up like that to keep calling the plays and move out of there?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say in my time here, we've had some long drives. We have some 90-yarders, some 80-yarders, and so that's something that we talk about when we're backed up. As soon as I get in that huddle, we all discuss it. Hey, we've done this before. We've done it a number of times, so let's go do it. And all it takes is the focus and the concentration, one play at a time, everybody executing their job, and just focus on that. And you look up, and you're converting 13, 17-play drives and getting touchdowns, and it's just great.
You had a couple of touchdowns that were wide open that you rarely see, the one to Cobb and also to Jarwin. What were the calls on those plays, and why were they so wide open?
Yeah, I mean, run action. And when you have a great run game like that, that's what happens. The backers step up, and they leave the field. They leave voided zones in the field, and that's what happened on both of them. So, I mean, as I said, it's great play calling by Kellen, great timing, and yeah, it was. Those are easy touchdowns. You beg for those.
What is your relationship? Over the second
Dak Prescott, loving what Kellen Moore was calling today. Guys, just look at him out there. He looks so confident, at ease, and like he's loving the game plan.
Yeah, he is. And an easy throw right there to Amari Cooper. That's what you got to do. I mean, he's put the ball right on his guys today. You know, these slants aren't easy to throw, and he was able to execute several of them with some really nice accuracy.
And he going to his second read a couple of times. You saw where he went to his second read, man, making things happen. That guy around the Cobb, that's who surprised me. I didn't see a lot during the preseason, but I saw it big today, making plays like that. He went up big there for that right there.
That's you catching balls in traffic, contested like that. Nice job by Blake Jarwin.
Yes, sir. Blake Jarwin, baby.
Two deep coverage.
Sometimes those are the hardest to catch.
Oh, yeah.
All by yourself like that.
It kind of like Dak kind of shot-putted it out there to him.
He couldn't believe it himself.
He started the game like the ball was slippery or something, but as the game went on, he found his rhythm. That's what we didn't see a lot of last year, Broaddus. Yeah, and he is confident with that.
Sure has. Worked a lot on that touch. Deep ball. Look at that right there.
Wow.
A little bit behind Gallup that time, but Gallup able to adjust. That's the thing. Gallup tracking the ball, adjusting the ball, making the play.
More. There's just more.
Yeah, God, this is what I love about Cobb. Look at that right there. He knows,
baby.
Yeah, he's 4 yards from the first down marker right there, and he just abuses his guy, gets the first down. That's what you don't get that from Cole Beasley.
See that? Is that something we should depend on? That 25 for 32,
absolutely.
400.
That?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about
not Cobb. I'm talking about Dak. The Dak dominance.
Me personally, I would like to see. I'd like to see. We've shown that. We've shown the stats when he's 21 or 22 of 29 for 280 yards, something like that. This team finds a way to win. But they won that way today because the Giants allowed them to do that. They protected well. Receivers got open. Dak Prescott made some great throws. If that's what he has to do, that's fine. But I think they're going to play teams that have better pass rush, better against the run, and it's going to be a little bit more. It's going to be a little more difficult for them to move the ball that way. That's just. I just have a feeling that's going to happen.
I just believe that when you have Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup emerges, and Cobb's doing his thing, Blake Jarwin, with that run game with Zeke and Pollard, that you can balance it out. And I'm thinking his stats may touch up a little bit, maybe to 25 out of 30. You know what I'm saying?
They went heavy play action early. You think about all the passes that they completed early, really heavy play action. And so, okay, there's going to come a point in time where if you're not running the ball effectively, play action is not going to work. But then again, it might not matter with all the receivers that they have. I just would like to see them, that running game to be more successful. And maybe it will when we get down week 3, week 4.
Well, and usually Zeke gets the ball at a way more consistent pace, and it was kind of spotty, so maybe that has something to do with it.
Won't be spotty in 2 weeks, I promise you.
2 weeks, baby.
Let's go, baby.
Contract talk pickup? We looking at that?
Could be.
All right.
Staying out of that.
I know, me too. I have nothing to add. Quick break here from Cowboys OT. More to come. Don't go anywhere. Cowboys OT continues here from the Star in Frisco. I heard next week we are doing all of this outside on the plaza for a massive watch party.
Post game too,
This
so get ready.
is really happening.
Wow, can we wear shorts and short sleeves? Man, I'm a die out there,
Hey,
man.
just check it out. Tune in. Listen for all the directions and details. But there is a free watch party happening here at the Star in Frisco for the Washington road game. So come out, hang out. It's a noon game. Yes, hats, sunscreen, the whole bit. It's going to be so fun. Wear your hat, wear your shorts, wear your flip-flops. We'll be ready. Me and Brian need it, okay? We don't want to burn here. Speaking of burns.
Yes.
Talk to me about this coming week. Dak Prescott said he's closing the book on the Giants, so looking forward to the Redskins. We got to see the Eagles and Redskins today. Don't really know what we saw. A lot of back and forth. What are we thinking?
The front seven will be better for the Washington Redskins in this game. I mean, trust me, Dallas, we talked about wanting to run the ball and have to be physical. The pass rush will be better. Ryan Kerrigan, these guys have got some pass rushers now. I'm telling you what. So this will be a little bit different as we get ready for this week.
All right, let's go out to AT&T Stadium and check in with our friends Rob Phillips and Nick Eatman from DallasCowboys.com.
Thank you, Lindsay. Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott just left the field. I'm sure, Nick, that when we go down the tunnel and we talk to Dak, he's going to say it's not a perfect game. There's things to work on. No. But statistically, you could argue with him, right?
Yeah, wrong. It was a perfect game. He was absolutely perfect. The stats say he was perfect, 158.3. Did an amazing job. Kellen Moore did an awesome job there play calling, but Dak was great. So I don't know if this helps or hurt the contract. I don't know if it's like, well, they got to get this done tomorrow, or now it's like, see, maybe he is worth $40 billion. I don't know. But he was lights out in this game.
Defensively, gave up a couple big plays to Eli Manning, Saquon Barkley, and the Giants, but 3 of 11 third downs for the Giants. Pretty solid job overall defensively.
I agree with you. I mean, they were all over the place. They forced 2 fumbles on the quarterback, both Eli and Daniel Jones there flying after the ball. Leighton Vander Esch looked the same. Cheeto had a great game as well. So they really, both sides of the ball, did a phenomenal job.
Fans at AT&T Stadium going home happy. Pretty complete performance by your Dallas Cowboys. Back to Lindsay and the crew.
Thank you, Rob. Yes, great stuff from the guys out at AT&T Stadium. Still working the locker rooms. I just keep thinking about things that can happen and change in so short time of a year. And Cole Beasley today, I saw a little bit of what was going on with his team, and then seeing what Randall Cobb did today, just the things that the Cowboys have done, the little things in the offseason to get them ready for this year.
This is a team and a scouting staff, and you know my love for scouts and what they bring and how important they are. But this crew has done a great job. Not only college scouts have done a great job of evaluating the guys around the country in the draft, but look what the pro personnel guys have done as well. I saw Christian Covington even in there working late in that game, getting a little pressure, getting a little push. But guys like Randall Cobb, and that's not even with Robert Quinn. Robert Quinn is out one more game, but the pro department, the college department, give these guys a lot of credit for the roster that they've helped build here.
Understand that each one of these guys they got this offseason by be a draft or free agency, these guys contributed today. We didn't have DeMarcus Lawrence and a few guys doing training camp. So now they're on a pitch count. You need it for these other guys to step in so they wouldn't wear themselves out going into this season. And you'll see at the end of this year, if everything goes well, that we'll have a fresher and better team, especially in the middle of our defense.
And what we can't even talk about how much it means to not only start off 1-0 in the division, but to have a game like that before you got another division game coming up, Nate.
Yeah, if you find a way, go get a victory next week at Washington, that puts you 2-0 in the division. Plus, you've got a game in hand on Washington because you beat them at their place. So, yeah, really, every game's important because at the end of the year, it's going to be, okay, who's got the most, who's got the least, who's going to the playoffs. You want to be on the big end of that.
Ryan said that their front seven, as they mature and they get better, I'm talking about the Washington Redskins, they're going to be a beast. Yeah. They got Geist from LSU, the running back. Yeah. He's a beast. So in case Keenum ain't going to make no mistakes, they jumped out on the Eagles today. Yeah. And the Eagles had to come back and show their mettle. But I'm telling you, that was a builder for Coach Gruden. He's telling his guys, fellas, cut down on the mistakes and win every game.
All right. When you said Coach Gruden, I immediately thought of the other one because we got to talk about Amari Cooper and how the Cowboys are still winning with the deal with the Raiders right after this on Cowboys OT. talk does not end here with the Cowboys. This guy is up to be paid as well, Amari Cooper, and he had some questions this offseason with some plantar fasciitis and pain in his heel. I think he answered those questions tonight that he can play just fine, guys.
He made some nice runs. He can run almost every route the same. He comes off the ball. He scares defenders. He's a physical finisher. He can get into the end zone. He's nice, man. He's just nice.
Yeah, I tell you what, he does put fear in cornerbacks because what happens to him is he could run his route. His speed never adjusts. He runs his routes full speed and is able to get in and out of breaks. There's no hesitation. Just nice job right there. Great throw by Prescott, by the way, but Cooper's able to get that separation from Baker, the rookie corner from Georgia, and then make that play.
Amari Cooper, and one thing we talked about before the show before the game on our pregame show, Brian, was Janoris Jenkins and the way he gambled a little bit, and how Amari Cooper is just the best in the league at what he does.
I just thought it was going to be a good matchup for the Cowboys because when you're a gambler, a guesser, and you're trying to read routes, and you got a guy that won't show you anything as he's running the routes, that's going to be really hard for a guy to pick that up. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing, because I know going into this game, or what we've seen really from training camp, was that Kellen Moore likes to do route combinations to get guys open. And I guarantee you there was some bunch formation stuff they did that got guys open. The slants got guys open. The vertical routes got guys open. There's all kinds of things that they were able to do. It's so much different than what we saw with Scott Linehan, because I don't think Scott used the route combinations like Kellen Moore does to get guys open, to get the windows. We saw guys wide open today. I think a lot of it had to do with the route combinations.
And on the 9 route down the left sideline, he kept his separation. He came off the line. Most receivers have to hand fight. He came off with no hand fight, shook and went around the guy. That's not easy to do. No. That's a savvy veteran move.
And as we're talking, we're not going to stay on it, but the contract, Amari Cooper, we were talking about it during the break, is the guy you want in your locker room. When it comes to receivers, he goes against the grain. He is not your typical
prima donna,
flamboyant prima donna receiver. Right. He plays chess in the locker room with his friends.
Yeah.
That's what kind of guy
different.
He is.
And it's funny, like David Hellman tried to do a story on him being different, and everybody's like, really, all receivers are different. You know, I know that David was like, okay, well, yeah, but he's different. Like Lindsay says, he plays chess. He's quiet. But I'll tell you what, though, he's just a big-time football player. And again, I give the Cowboys pro personnel department credit for evaluating him. But I give Jerry Jones a lot of credit because I've been with Jerry Jones when he had to give up a first-round pick, and he hates it. He gave up 2 one time for Joey Galloway. Trust me, it's agonizing to sit there. But Amari Cooper, that 27th pick overall from last year, you are not going to find a better football player at 27 than Amari Cooper. It's a great trade for the Dallas Cowboys, and it's going to go forward from here.
Look at Michael Gallup.
Oh, yeah. And before we move on and talk about Zeke really quickly, 2nd-round pick Tristan Hill was inactive tonight, as well as Taco Charlton, who was a healthy scratch. Just want you guys to touch on that really quick.
This fire, right? Light some fire under their rears.
I'm going to tell you something. Taco Charlton has had many opportunities to reach his potential. You have to quit talking and start walking it. Now, the young guy, Tristan, I don't know a lot about him, but one thing I thought coming out of his school is that he had that fire, that he needed a second chance. He's not proving anything to Coach Marinelli. Coach Marinelli will talk to you and love on you, but you have to show him.
But they love his effort. You know, they love the effort, but they're worried about in this game. They needed the bodies,
the technique.
They needed Joe Jackson to play. If he could play end, he could play tackle. They needed bodies for all the guys that they're trying to get through this football game. But they made it through okay. It looks like.
Okay, as far as the rest of the young defense, though, again, we mentioned Robert Quinn is coming back, not this week, but the next. What did you like about the rotation tonight? Seemed like they weren't completely the hot boys themselves, but why was that?
Well, you saw the Giants. I think the Giants' offensive line has improved. It's not the doormats that they once were, where they had welcome across their chest.
Yeah,
you know,
led by Fowler.
Yeah, they did, but they got a little pressure. But it wasn't that 3-4 sack game that I thought that maybe we would see from the hot boys up front.
The talent was a little bit better. and our main man, D-Law, wasn't into full playing mode. When he becomes into full playing mode and we get Quinn back, you'll see that movement a little bit better.
Why wasn't he in full playing mode?
Who was that?
Just DeMarcus, not there yet?
He's really been only 2 weeks of practicing, you know, but I'll tell you what, he's going to have more opportunity because, again, I have a feeling in watching the Redskins game today a little bit, the Redskins offensive line had some problems. No Trent Williams.
None.
Hold out for the Redskins. Even though that's on the other side over there, the Redskins have some questions along that offensive line.
Okay, well, looking at the defense, you see Jeff Heath out there making some plays. Talk to me about what you saw from the safeties today.
I think like my man said earlier, Woods had 11 tackles.
Yeah.
Heath came up and made some nice bone-jarring hits, and that's all you need. Once the defensive line catches up to the rest of the team, once our linebackers find their rhythm, you won't see them making as many tackles. And then they can make plays on balls as the D-Law improves himself and the Wolf Hunter there improves himself. Things in the back end always take care of
There was some good discipline on those fourth down plays, those short yardage plays and stuff. Pat Shurmur did him a favor, though. Again, Nate, the whole game was screaming, why don't you just hand the ball to Saquon Barkley, which is absolutely right there. But to Nate's point, though, safety play in the alley, guys coming up and making plays, Woods being physical like he has to. You know, there you see right there Awuzie and those guys. You know, I think that they're gonna have to play. They're gonna have to tackle a little bit better as a group, though. I think there were too many times, especially early in this game, where they weren't good enough.
Yep, and we saw Saquon Barkley, but yes, the Redskins don't have that. We are going to talk about the $90 million man, Ezekiel Elliott, right after these messages here on Cowboys OT and everything to look forward to. What we saw this afternoon at AT&T Stadium, the Cowboys throwing the ball all over the place, 4 different touchdowns through the air, 1 on the ground with Zeke. You know, in the past, we've seen Zeke running the ball a lot. That's been the go-to. That's the way Scott Linehan did it when he was coordinator. Are we going to go back to some of that, or are we going to see this team airing it out the way they do?
We will to a certain extent, but Kellen Moore is going to give you a bunch of people. He's going to make you defend the whole field. And that's what he did today. I mean, they wanted to keep Zeke on the pitch count, which Broaddus, I didn't believe they was going to do. Yeah. But they did it. And they did it with Pollard. They did it with Blake Jarwin. They did it with the wide receivers.
They did it because they got a lead. They were able to do that. And I think that was the best thing about it is, and again, I said it earlier, this reminded me very much of the 90s Cowboys where they just, Troy Aikman would have pass after pass after pass, and then all of a sudden the second half, then it turns into, okay, Emmitt Smith running the football and then killing the game. I think they're going to have to. I think that's going to be Kellen Moore's plan. Today I knew this with going into this game that he was going to make the Giants not only have to defend horizontally but vertically as well, and he did. He made the Giants have to go all over the field. I felt like he wore the Giants down defensively. That was very evident because they scored on 5 straight possessions. So touchdowns on 5 straight possessions. So that tells you how much Kellen Moore, he kept his foot on the gas in this game, built the lead, and they were able to coast it through at the end.
Is that what you think we're going to see? Is that a consistent thing?
I think that 33 passes may be what we see from Dak, but as the season goes on, we know Zeke going to feed. We know he's going to feed, and this offensive line going to get better. I mean, and our defense going to get some turnovers and give us those short fields. Yeah. And that right there, that feeds the offense like you wouldn't believe. When they can have a short field, when they look out there and say, we got 40 yards, now your playbook is wide open, you go over the top, you can go underneath.
Great tackle by Woods to start the game on Barkley, knocks the ball loose, but they're not able to get a guy on the ball. That ball could have been right there, right on the goal line for them to maybe hammer that thing, because they were really good in the red zone today with the opportunities they got.
Well, hearing from AT&T Stadium that the loudest cheer today was for Jason Witten and his return to the Cowboys after taking a year off. Let's hear more from Witt on the big return.
These games like this, and it just, you know, I said it a long time ago, it just, when you come back, you just want to have some role, you know, and help the team, and it's good to get that in the end zone, and good to get that win.
How good do you think everything went in terms of your game plan and Kellen Moore calling?
Yeah, well, I thought Kellen did a really nice job. I mean, he was aggressive. It was an aggressive plan. You know, a lot of the stuff pre-snap, you've seen it paying off for us. I thought the best possession we had was in the third quarter, You know, you talk about being aggressive. We come back out and stayed that way. The play action game really opened up for us, and Dak saw it, and Dak was in complete command the entire game, and I think that shows the relationship they have of the way we want to attack. It's one thing to say you want to be aggressive. It's another thing to see it execute the way it did. So great start for Kellen, and we have all the confidence in the world. I mean, he's been preaching that to us, you know, since minute one he got hired, and I think just the entire staff, him, Colombo, Coach Garrett, the rest of the offensive coaches, I mean, just they're very in tune with how we want to attack the game. And we got to do a better job finishing, but collectively, I thought just this offense, you know, to see it come out and execute the way it did, even though, you know, we didn't get a great first start at the beginning and had to respond, bounce back after Eli went down and was able to get some points. You know, that's the start you want for a coordinator and your football team.
Jason, that first play of this.
Jason Witten, 3 catches for 15 yards, Brian. That's exactly what you said. They weren't going to try to overdo it or push it.
No, and a really nice creative design on the goal line there. You know, how many times I thought that Jason Witten was going to be a big help in this red zone. They run heavy play action. They send everybody to the left, and then here you go, Witten with a nice decoy block, sell of a block, and then he gets the safety to overcommit down inside and he's outside. So that just shows you, if they get Ezekiel Elliott going like Nate and I think that they're going to, those play action passes, those waggles, the boots, the screens, all that stuff, if Dak Prescott throwing on the move, will be even better.
And then our boy Jarwin can still shine.
Man, he's going to shine. They got set plays for both of these guys. They're going to be in there together a lot of times. They're going to be singled out a lot of times. Whenever you need to go up that middle and when you coming off that 20 for your own team, that Blake Jarwin, that's where he'll be big at.
All right, Brian and Nate and I will wrap up the show and tell you more about why you should come out and hang out with us next week at the Star at our watch party, putting a bow on Cowboys-Giants right after this.
The Cowboys OT was brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Wendy's. Wendy's one and only spicy nuggets are back on the menu. Available at participating Wendy's for a limited time only. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' film and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.
Take a look at your next 4 matchups for the Cowboys. We talked about Washington. Miami took an absolute beating today.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, Miami's in a totally different mode than everybody else, even through week 1. It's like they're looking at those quarterbacks really strong right now.
Good one, good matchup this coming week for the Saints. And yeah, there you have it, the 4 upcoming games for the Cowboys. Talk to me about your thoughts going into the next week with a new look to this offense. I knew it would be different, but not this different, guys.
You will see a more physical front 7 with the Redskins. And me and Brian still believe that the front 7 can dictate, a defense can dictate the tempo of a game. And I think that Kellen Moore has to really be on that, you know, slow it down, speed it up, getting people in and out of the huddle, because you're going to have to wear down that front 7.
Yeah, he's going to come up with a different game plan for this game. He's got a game plan for the Giants, but he'll have one for the Redskins, a different way to attack that front and that secondary.
It's so exciting. Like, that whole entire game was so exciting.
It was.
All right, Washington, Cowboys. They're on the road. Come hang out with us at the Star pregame next week. Starts at 11 a.m. We'll hang out for the rest of the evening out on the Tostitos Championship Plaza. Thanks for tuning in to Cowboys OT. See you next week.